How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? Tesla's sitting at $424 as we talk right now, essentially flat on the day. Inauguration day has finally happened. It is behind us at this point. All the memes, all the jokes, all of that sort of stuff that came from Inauguration Day. I'm not going to get too much into it other than the fact that it's time for business at this point. We got a large upgrade from Wedbush, Dan Ives today for Tesla, $550 now from $515. I think the AI story, and especially last night with the announcement of Project Stargate, which if you haven't heard is OpenAI's flagship infrastructure program where there's going to be a million partners and they're going to have $500 billion worth of funding to build out AI infrastructure, to cure diseases, to do everything that AI should do in the next decade or two. The sentiment around AI and Tesla is quite high. That being said, the stock is actually flat comparatively to the chip makers, comparatively to the NASDAQ. And I think, of course, a large portion of that has to do with the fact that we've already run up so much. But as it stands right now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty... Like, of course, my options would like us to be skyrocketing from here. But, you know, if it's the end of January, essentially, which is just crazy to think about. And we're sitting at pretty much what was all-time highs about a month and a half ago, $425. The 400 level has shown to be a key level of support for Tesla. And I'm just going to give you my thoughts on where I think the next few years go. But first, I'm just going to say, like, I think in the first half of this year, I think at some point we have a significant drawdown, not a crash. I said this on my live stream, but I just have one of those gut feelings where I feel like we're going to get a substantial sell-off in NASDAQ off of the valuations that we see right now. And I don't think it'll last very long, but I do think we'll get one. And so this is an interesting FSD situation. I'm just going to get in line here instead. So I think at some point in the first half we get that, right? But I think for the next 3 or 4 years, the biggest challenge is just going to be mentally staying in the market. I said this on the live stream where I said, you know, I was talking to myself because obviously I don't give any financial advice, but I was like, you know, in the next 10 or 20 years, and maybe 20 is stretching it for a lot of people watching, but let's say the next 5 to 15 years, they're just going to be such a golden age for where we are in terms of AI. We're in the first inning, right, of where this is headed. Robotics, of course, like any sort of engineering is going to be flipped upside down. Software engineering already is. Driving, it's just we are living in the golden age, and in the next 4 years, the amount of regulation that's going to come off, the amount of red tape that's gonna cease to exist is gonna be a massive driver for growth, for good or bad, right? Growth at all costs is not always positive. It doesn't always feel good, and that's one of the things maybe I'll do another video about. But what Trump is doing with all of the, let's say, Doge, I don't need to change lanes, with all the Doge projects, the Department of Government Efficiency, of course that's disinflationary. But it's going to hurt in terms of employment. It's going to hurt in terms of purchasing power, and in terms of growth for a little bit. It will, because remember, a large portion of GDP does come from governmental spending, and that's the ironic part of this. So all that to say is, short term there might be a little bit of pain, but I think long term it's like ripping the Band-Aid off, but the scab comes off with it. Unfortunately, it's going to probably feel like that for a little bit. But the hardest part, back to my point, is going to be just staying true and holding on to good companies for the next 5 to 15 years. There's going to be tumultuous times this is the thing with FSD. Why does it want to change lanes so much? Anyways, it's going to be tumultuous times at points. There 100% be news stories or this regulation or that regulation. Gosh, some people just gotta learn how to get into a lane, man. We'll see. I took off FSD for half a second. My road rage already started coming out. But it's going to be a point where I'm just going to have to continually remind myself, just continue to hodl good companies that are going to take advantage of the first inning game that we're in. Tesla is one, Nvidia is one. I think AMD might actually end up being a big contributor as well, despite their software stack still hurting. For the average person, just the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, but holding on is going to be the hardest part, but it's going to, and this is all tried and true, but I really do think in the next 5 to 15 years, like this is the time where we see even more outsized gains than we've ever seen before. I'm just generally very bullish on the future. And maybe that's just a counter signal because Yash is always wrong. But I'm just generally very excited where we're headed right now. Anyways, Happy New Year to everyone. Stand of January. I still get to say that for next week, I think. Unless you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Yash signing off. Peace out.